Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back with a brand new video. And on one hand we are here to talk about a Rangers win, a Rangers clean sheet and a cheeky wee Glen Kamara goal as well. By the way, so I'm a happy guy, but on the other side of the scale we have a lot of tension, a very increased blood pressure, a lot more grey hairs, and at least 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years ripped away for the old life cycle because that aged me. The day you talk about hard fought, hard games in football, that is right up there, people. And again, you need to do that during the season. There is games you need to roll up your sleeves and willing to get ugly, and again, that goes right up into the upper echelons of that. And it wasn't a beautiful game of football. Again, after the weekend and the disappointments and the frustrations and all that, I'd have loved to have seen a real complete performance out there with some sparkling bits of play and a real statement performance, but we never really got that. But again, we got the most important thing in football, and that is the win. And that's an interesting comparison as well, because you look at that game, we got all 3 points for that. Look at the Motherwell game with some of the gorgeous play and ability and build up and all that stuff we done in that game, and in Dundee United game before that, and we got 1 point for each of those games. That's football in a nutshell, people. So didn't take anything I'm going to say in today's video, some of the frustrations I have with some of the decisions made or anything as a negative, me being like, no, I'm absolutely over the moon. I'm just exhausted, people, mentally and physically based on that game of football. So didn't try and twist any of the words that way or feel I'm being overly negative, but there is some things we actually need to talk about. So if you are going to stay in for today's video, strap yourselves in, people, because it wasn't a game filled with glorious opportunities, but there is some things we need to discuss. So I think we'll dive right into the start of the game then, shall we? Because there was a lot of people surprised about and shocked about the lineup and who was selected, but I think those people missed yesterday's preview video, because me and thanks by the way for tuning in to yesterday's preview video, we pretty much got it 99% right in terms of the starting 11, besides one change, and that was Sakala, and even that baffles me. And I know it's easy to say in hindsight and that, but whether you like him or not, for me Sakala is positive. He got a goal at the weekend, and you know what you get for the laddie. Energy and positivity. Energy and positivity. Two things I think's badly lacking in the middle of our park, and it's weird that we're rotating somebody out who barely plays and running boys who's playing every week at all the minutes, every 3 days, right into the fricking ground, to the point where they look a shadow of themselves. I mean, look where Joe Aribo is right now. And again, I'm not being overly negative, but I'm just telling you how I saw the game. He was up there for Player of the Year in the entire league, in my opinion, a couple of weeks ago. Now, since he's came back for the Africans Cup of Nations, we have ran him right into the ground. It looks a shadow himself, and shadow himself leads me to the other midfielder who's running about there the now and just no getting involved in the game, or no having the right impact or the proper impact he can have, and that is Scotty Arfield. Now, I know I've mentioned that in the preview video, last recap, and that for me, we all love the laddie, but honestly, we are working him to the bone for this contract extension, and it's baffling to me because his output is just absolutely whittled away to nothing, yet he's still trying in that, and I didn't blame the laddie, but after 35 minutes, it genuinely looked pan-breed. So with all that being said, I think we were all in unison with the exact same thought in mind. We need to start this game quickly and score a couple of goals, because the longer this goes on, the more we'll drop off like a cliff, and the more St Johnstone will grow into the game, because that's exactly what happened in our last game. In fact, if you go back to Aberdeen, it's exactly what happened at Aberdeen. It's exactly what happened at Ross County. It's exactly what happened against Dundee United. It's exactly what happened versus Motherwell. And spoiler alert, it's exactly what happened in this game as well. But thankfully, people, before we discuss the madness and no subs and all that malarkey, let's talk about some genuine football and quality, because this team is capable of the sublime, and for me, the way we started this game is exactly what we needed, and maybe even a wee bit more, because this goal for me is genuinely top quality. And Connor Goldson drives up with the football, pings a ball right to Alfredo Morelos, who spins away for his defender to come close, and then what he does with the flick of the ball, people, this isn't getting the respect it deserves. I've seen somebody say, oh, we've been a wee bit lucky because that's hit off. No chance has that hit off Morelos. No, he has lifted that. That is completely meant in every single aspect. It's a wonderful ball, and what I love here is we've got a midfield runner and Glen Kamara. Maybe the shackles are off him a little bit because Lundstrom's now the bully and the linchpin in the middle of the park. So that allows Kamara to go through. And if I'm honest with you, when I seen the ball drop down, even though he's got a wee bit of a mad strike on the laddie who usually hits double Zs and that, I was actually quite quietly confident when the ball was dropping to him. The smile started to raise because he's shown, especially versus St Johnstone, when he's in and around the box, he's strangely very calm and composed in front of goal. It's another wonderful, wonderful finish that goes right with the one we scored last year in December. Not quite as good as that one, but for me, this goal was exactly what the Rangers support needed. It was exactly what the team needed, and it should have paved the way for us to have a very, very good day. And I mean, we did, because we won the game, so I'm not going to complain, but in terms of performance and that, it didn't quite match the opening 3-4 minutes of this game, because shortly after we scored the opening goal, St Johnstone showed where they were a threat. And I'm going to keep this pretty short because I'm not going to sit here and bore you and make you see or hear the exact same, because we've just watched the exact same thing, but hear the same thing. It's a corner, crossed into the 6-yard box. It's a free header. St Johnstone wins it, but thankfully on the first occasion, Callum Hendry is climbing all on the back of Alfredo Morelos and he ends up hitting it wide, but Willie Collum actually sees that one, blows for the foul. But a couple of minutes later, I think it's McCart that gets in at the back post. Again, the exact same corner, drops it in 6-yard box. McGregor standing there. Balogun's at the front post. Connor Goldson's marking Gordon, I think it is, shortly after that. But McCart is completely left at him, but thankfully messes up the header and knocks it across. So that's two quick-fire corners for St Johnstone that had me absolutely terrified, people. And again, I'm not old enough to have been back in the day when The Exorcist first came out. One of the scariest movies of all time, if I take you on a trip back into history. And when that was released into the cinemas, people were passing out screaming in terror and fear. And again, I wasn't old enough to experience that in the cinemas, but I'm pretty damn sure what I experienced watching Rangers Football Club try to defend corners is up there in terms of terror. Honestly, I'm not even kidding on. The fear and the terror I had watching us try to defend set pieces and the way the rest of the game unfolded nearly finished me off. I mean, that's why I'm wearing black the day, just in case you were turning up to my funeral. That's what Rangers nearly put me through this afternoon. But where it was starting to really kick in with the nerves, we had some moments of good play again. And this is where Glen Kamara's aggression in the middle of the park was starting to really come in. He looked like he had a point to prove. And that's the first time, because he's normally very soft-spoken, just look at my wee silky turns and everything like that. But he had a wee bit of bite to him this afternoon, and that's one of the main positive things I'm going to take for this game. I can't even speak, man. I'm absolutely knackered, but that's one of the most positive things I'm taking away, is he looked different to me, and we need more of that. So Kenny wee bit of nipping and everything. That ball ends up falling to Alfredo Morelos, who does brilliantly. He takes on his man, he then slips a ball in to Scotty Arfield, whose first touch is a tackle. It gets away from him inside the box, but thankfully his bad first touch ends up clearing off a defender. It falls back to Morelos inside the box, a wee bit wide right, and Morelos does what you get taught to do, rattle it low and make it as difficult as possible for the goalkeeper. Even for that tight angle, it beats the goalkeeper, but ends up hitting the post and coming right back out. Again, just not getting that wee rub of the green right now, eh? That just couldn't hit the inside of the post and go in. No. But again, we didn't have that luck, and honestly, after that, after the 19th minute of this game just devolved. And everything everyone says Scottish football can be, lumps up the park, no good football, balls bouncing. I mean, the park was horrendous tonight. I'm not going to try and make excuses, because that wasn't the reason we never had energy or drive in the middle of the park. We all know why that is. We're running players into the ground. But we couldn't get anything. Even St Johnstone couldn't. And the next 20 minutes honestly felt like forever, and we got sparked back into life around about the 41st minute of this game, where McGregor actually has a very smart save down to his left hand side. And you know what, it's no a McGregor moment, it's not like a world, but I take what I can get right now, so I'll give him some credit. That was a good save, and that was just a wee warning sign that St Johnstone were willing to have a pop. And again, that did spark us in the attack as Ryan Kent gets involved here. I thought he was at least positive and trying things. Again, no everything came off, but at least he's trying to make things. It's really easy to just keep turning around, passing it off to someone else and wait for someone else to try and do something. It's a lot harder, even when the game's not gone your way, to keep trying and trying and trying. He kind of gets involved with the ball here, a couple of wee things. The ball eventually finds its way once again to Alfredo Morelos, who, stop me if you've heard this before, does some lovely, lovely work in finding Scotty Arfield inside the box yet again. Thankfully, this time his first touch isn't a slide challenge, but unfortunately his second is a pitch as he rattles it 3-4 yards over the bar, and you think, okay. But my thoughts around about this time was the exact same as they've been in the last 4 SPFL matches. We need a fresh legs in the middle of the park because it's slipping away for us. And again, for the 4th match in a row, my sub would have been at half time. Scotty Arfield off the frickin' park. Again, Joe Rebo wasn't too fantastic in the game, but Joe Rebo's got that kind of genius about him where he can create anything out and on. So I understand why you keep a Joe Rebo on, even when he's no 100% at it. But for Scotty Arfield, I just didn't get it. But going in to the second half, of course, no changes or adjustments were actually made. Don't be actual silly. We only adjust and change things for European football because we respect that competition. But anyway, 10-15 minutes goes by, no much happens. We had a Connor Goldson long ball to Joe Rebo, who has a left-footed volley. It's a tricky technique, but it's on target and it's asking a question. And then 5 minutes later, the game should be dead and buried. And it's the 2 players I talked about potentially subbing off, even though I would keep Rebo on. And this is just Rebo being Rebo. Like, he just picks the ball up, he's got one on him, shoves him away. Just get off me, man, honestly. Get away from my face. Just get away, and he jogs away from him. Then another one comes up and he just beats him. It's not even a skill move, it's just step aside. I'm better than you, and he showed it again. And then once he's beat the 2 St Johnstone players, he gets his head up, passes it across the box. It's now about 8-9 yards out. He finds Scotty Arfield, clear sight in goal. I'm getting ready to do the salute. I'm like, oh man, I've been talking about subbing him off and everything like that. He's going to score and drop a salute. Can't wait for it. Let's go. Oh my god, he's hit it wide. Now I'll be honest, I feel dirty inside doing all this and everything, but I need to tell you how the game went because I really like him. But these are golden opportunities. This is the championship run now, people. All the mistakes and all that, they need to be gone. We need to be perfect. And we've got players that are so far away from perfect yet continue to be picked. It's begging for trouble. It really, really is. But it's not just chance after chance after chance. If you're playing Rangers offside bingo at home, it came in the 68th minute because of course it is. Again, this is all part of the similar story we're seeing over and over again. And this one's sad because it's genuine quality. It's a wonderful ball in from Tavernier. It's an actual in-swinger, and that's something I get annoyed at when we keep doing all these out-swinging corners and free kicks. It winds me up. This one's for the right angle and he's passing it right into the net to make it difficult, because even if Connor Goldson doesn't get this header, it's asking a question of the goalkeeper because he needs to commit himself. So I'm a big fan of in-swinging set pieces now. We didn't do them anywhere near enough because we insist on Tavernier taking everything. But this one, it gets perfect. It meets Connor Goldson, banging in the back of the net. I'm like, go in, Tav. They're having an iffy game at the back, but they've scored and probably saw the game. It's offside, fair enough. But then the moment came, the moment that slapped us in the teeth over the last 4 away matches with a nothing ball forward by St Johnstone that should be easily dealt with by the defence and goalkeeper. McGregor goes to come out, comes to come back out, comes to come... Honestly, he's doing hokey pokey back there. And Tavernier ends up trying to header it back to him and he undercuts it by a mile. It drops just to Hendry. McGregor just flops up like that, and then he's holding himself down to save. He's been touched, but he's no been touched. He's just nowhere near it. But thankfully, people, instead of being punished for that mistake that's punished us week upon week upon week, the ball falls our way for once, and Tavernier absolutely smashes it out the stadium. But that was the moment that has haunted us all season long. We just got away with it this afternoon with the way the ball spun our way rather than spinning Hendry's way. And that's the 71st minute of the game, and that's it, people. That is the game breakdown. In terms of major opportunities and major chances, that was the game done and dusted. Now, I've not really done a service to the likes of the grafters on the team. I thought Bassey was strong defensive, put in a couple of decent balls, and I made a couple of mistakes, but again, he's not the finished article. But guys like Lundstrom, who I thought was really good this afternoon, there was one in the early in the first half where McGregor comes out and tries to find a pass, but he gives it straight to St Johnstone player. Sorry, I'm whiffing in the name, but if Lundstrom isn't there, and if he doesn't react and get in there and put a challenge in and win that ball, he's probably shooting that and there's probably putting it in to the back of net. But it's wee things like that a wee challenge like that doesn't really get brought up or shown in highlights. And he had one in the 86th minute as well where it's a set piece, we get it cleared away, but it's coming straight back and the ball drops 10-15 yards outside the box. He's got no right to win this. This looks like St Johnstone's keeping us pinned in. But the Scouse, lovely SOB, just absolutely full pelt goes, either I'm winning this ball or I'm getting a red card. There's no in between. But you know what, I like that he lives on that edge because that's what we've missed. That guy in the middle of the park who isn't a nice guy, who won't pull out, who won't watch someone take the ball for us. He just goes, I'm winning this ball. If you want to come in, you can get hurt if you want. Wonderful slide challenge, and that got us the ball back in a game we were able to see the game out. So for me, Lundstrom probably didn't get a mention in the recap. He's probably forgotten, but his dirty side of the game doesn't come up in statistics or that. But he was vital this afternoon for Rangers, and one of the few players for me that actually played well this afternoon. I'm looking at, I liked him in the game. I liked Kamara. I liked Alfredo Morelos, who's my man of the match overall, and I thought Calvin Bassey had a decent game as well. And Big Balogun ran himself into the ground through his head, everything. And this leads me to my last talking point. Again, I'm not trying to be negative here, people. Hopefully you can see that. I need to tell you what I see, because if I sit here and lie to you, or if I cheerlead this way, or if I do this, then I'm not being honest, and then I don't want to do this channel. Do you know what I mean? Like, we only get on and we've had highs, we've had lows, we've fell out with each other, but I'm always honest, like it or no. And for me, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing right now for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, because we mentioned Balogun there. Look at when the full-time whistle there. He dropped to the ground right away and he's massaging his hammy. This is a guy that's just back for an injury, who we could see was maybe struggling last 10-15 minutes, but we refused to make subs. Morelos holding his hammy, Ryan Kent looking a wee bit, Joe Rebo again ran into the ground, and Scotty Arfield looking like an old horse is looking just to get the last couple runs out his legs. It's madness that we're not making a subs. That's again an opposition manager versus us making 5 subs and we no adjusting or changing anything. Is it arrogance? Does he not trust the guys on his bench? Does he not like the guys on the bench? We're just rolling the dice constantly on whether or not players are going to pull up with a hamstring, because if they pull their hamstring now, that's pretty much them out for the season. So I'm just confused. I do not understand this subs thing. Fair enough if you're playing really well and dominating, you don't want to take players off, but when it's guff and you can't string 2 passes together and people are blowing, is that not what subs are made for? Especially when you've got 5 to make. So, I know we got the win and I'm going to take it and I'll sleep happy the night. But I'm worried about what I'm seeing in terms of that aspect, because what's it going to take for us to actually start freshening up this team? Is it going to take one of our key players missing the rest of the season? Touchwood, hope no. But that's my disappointment in the afternoon. The no freshen up and changing anything, because again, to me, it scares me shitless. Because to me, we're a team that's struggling to score goals, but we're keeping guys who's scoring goals on the bench. Kamal Roof, one of the best goals to game ratio in the league. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but the stats show if you put him on the frickin' park, he will find the back of net, and he's just frozen out. I know he came on for the last 5-10 minutes versus Dundee United, but what's he done to annoy Giovanni? He said he likes Ajax and Real Madrid or something against Sakala. Alex Lowry blowing on the scene, looking good, and midfield positive and that. Ripped away, it's like, what's going on? Making me very, very nervous, but that's how I saw the game of football. Absolutely delighted with the win, loved the goal. Delighted that I get to say Glen Kamara is a game-winning goal-scoring hero, by the way, because that's a laddie who I think is very, very talented. But there's a couple of warning signs and warning bells with no answers yet, and it's making me nervous for the next couple games. How did you see the game of football? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until next time, which will be the Aberdeen preview, so I'll see you on Friday night. Take care of yourselves, everyone. All the best, and bye-bye.